We often picture great leaders as naturally confident, as if they were born with it. But that strength comes from a highly specific chemical cocktail. It comes down to two primary hormones. Cortisol is a survival-based stress hormone that actively hinders complex decision-making. Testosterone is the driver of concentration, energy, and assertiveness. When these mix poorly, they create suboptimal states. High cortisol makes people aggressive and erratic under pressure, while low testosterone leaves them passive and lacking strength. This matrix highlights the precise formula required for peak performance. You need high testosterone combined with low cortisol to act quickly and successfully under intense stress. Effective leadership is an optimized biological baseline that you can control. You can intentionally alter this chemistry before you walk into high-stakes situations. This diagram shows the primary physical hack, the power pose. Standing in an expansive stance physically increases your testosterone for control while simultaneously decreasing your cortisol for relaxed, clear thinking. You can maintain this balance with a few secondary habits. Staying grounded in the present moment lowers stress. Adjusting your diet to include more vegetables increases testosterone. Even deliberately changing your vocabulary to avoid aggressive words prevents anger responses in the brain. But optimizing your own brain is only the first step. If your actions send your team into a biological panic, your clear head won't save the project. True effectiveness requires you to manage the physiological state of everyone following you. When you announce a corporate reorganization, the brain doesn't process it as business strategy. It reacts as if a predator just stepped into the room. The brain's emotional center, the limbic system, seizes control. To ensure survival, it effectively shuts down the cortex, the area responsible for logical decision-making. Prolonged transitions and communication breakdowns happen because the workforce is stuck in this neurobiological survival mode. Workforce resistance is a hardwired, predictable defense mechanism. This charts how the brain metabolizes threats. To reach baseline, it moves through 4 stages. First, denial and anger. The limbic system fights reality to protect the host. Then, the cortex regains control, moving people into exploration and acceptance, restoring logic and active participation. You cannot force people to skip the first 2 stages. Your job is to create conditions that help the brain move through them faster. How do you soothe the limbic systems of hundreds of employees at the exact same time? You implement a systemic organizational strategy. Directives flowing top-down enforce compliance, while a bottom-up approach empowers employees to engage their natural sense of agency. This visual illustrates the most biologically sound method for a large group: incremental change. Introducing tiny, manageable adjustments prevents the massive cortisol spikes that trigger a limbic hijack in the first place. You can pair this with the individual model, focusing on awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement, to ensure every person's cortex stays engaged in the process. Corporate strategies are actually macro-level tools engineered for mass biological regulation. This outlines the exact toolkit to navigate change safely, the 7 C's of change management. The first 4, clarity, continuity, certainty, consistency, remove ambiguity, drastically lowering cortisol. The remaining 3, cooperation, confidence, communication, empower the logical cortex, restoring employee agency.
These are vital environmental signals that tell the human brain it is safe to adapt. Managing an organization is an exercise in managing biology. A successful transition requires you to master your own hormones and respect the collective threat response of your team. When you engineer a safe environment for everyone, you realize that effective organizational management is truly the science of biological orchestration.